Hello, friend. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Jean, and this is my channel where I talk about personal growth, becoming, healing, learning, growing, and all of the above, what it means to be human on this crazy planet that we call Earth. Let's get into the topic for today. I'm super excited to share. So let's do it. So, today we're going to talk about what I've learned from showing up online. It's been exactly, well, a little past a year since I started to just actively and consistently show up online, knowing that I have a message to share and that there is a community out there that I can build based on the things that fire me up and that I'm passionate about. It's crazy to think that a year has already gone by. It went by faster than I expected, but I definitely was just taking the time to reflect and ask myself, what have I learned? How have I grown? And what am I going to do differently heading into the second year that's going to make it even better? So I hope in some of these pointers that I'll share today, that'll either inspire you to take action if you have wanted to show up, if you have wanted to start a YouTube, start your Instagram, whatever the case may be. If you know you have a message to share, I hope it gives you something to reflect on or an inspiration to just take the leap, take action, and get into it. So let's get into the 3 pointers. I had a few more than that, but I figured we're gonna just keep it at 3, and I might do a part 2 to do 3 more and then 3 more after that. So let's get into it. So number 1, and that is trust the process. Trust the timing of your life and your journey with whatever you're doing, whether that be social media, whether that be in your fitness journey, in your relational journey, in your personal growth journey. Trust the timing, because everything happens for a reason and everything doesn't happen for a reason, if that makes sense. And the reason why I say that is because this is more of a personal one for me, where when I reflected on my own journey, especially when it relates to showing up online, perhaps starting a YouTube, I realized that everything happened as it should because I needed to take the time to build myself as a person and to know that even though I know I always had something to say, I didn't always have the strength to show up convicted and to show up not personalizing how people receive or react to how I show up. And I say that because there was one other time that I decided to start a YouTube channel, decided to share, at the time I had gone vegan and plant-based and was like, I'm gonna share this journey. I was watching a lot of What I Eat in a Days, which really inspired me. And I was like, I could do that. I could share what I'm eating and how I'm growing and how this whole plant-based journey is starting out for me. And I remember I put out a video, and you won't find it today because I took everything off that I had made. I think I had like 3 to 5 videos at that time. I put up a video and I got one person who was negative and who had something critical to say. And it was just like, being a Debbie Downer. They were like, boo hoo, like blah, 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 whatever, suck it up. Because I was talking about some of the difficulties I was facing with being, vegan and how no one in my sphere of influence at the time was really into that or had made that decision either. So I felt very isolated. And I remember I just folded like a cheap tent and was like, oh my God, like this means this is not good. Like I can't do this. Wiped everything off, deleted all the videos, turned my channel private and never showed up for like years. Never showed up for 5 or 6 years to this day. And in looking back, I realized that, I did not have the self-image, the strength, the conviction, self-worth, self-belief to show up and to weather that kind of criticism at the time. And I look back and it makes me go, I appreciate that experience and I can see how the timing just wasn't right. Because like I mentioned, I was not the person I needed to be. And I am now, I have that inner groundedness, that inner foundation to put myself out there, but I didn't at the time. And I had to take some years to develop that. But if I didn't trust that timing, or if I just didn't have faith that that happened for a reason, then I probably would have personalized that longer than I needed to and just taken, I don't know, I guess just allowed more time to pass before I said, okay, I'm gonna take another shot or I'm gonna do this again. Hopefully that makes sense. But trust the timing. If you feel like you've always wanted to start a YouTube, always wanted to show up on Instagram, TikTok, whatever the case may be, and say, hey, I have a message to share, but maybe you're not quite ready or things are not quite gelling how you want them to, just trust, kind of go within, introspect a little bit, check in with yourself and just say, where am I at? Can I do this? And of course you always can, right? Like, I'm not saying you can't, but just trust that maybe you need to take some more time to grow or develop your message a bit better, or just fumble a little bit more, show up anyway, but fumble and be willing to fumble for a while longer while you're figuring out what this looks like and what this can mean for you. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, number 2, and that is be prepared to see maybe not the worst sides of you, definitely the worst, but all those sides of you and aspects of yourself that are hard to stomach at times. Because for me, showing up online has meant there is a mirror reflecting back to me all of the things that I don't want to see. And the reason why I say that is because showing up is a very vulnerable thing to do. And it will naturally bring up all of your fears, all of your insecurities, all of your baggage, perhaps all of your trauma, not just in showing up, but also how people react. And sometimes no reaction can be the worst because you're like, oh man, no one likes what I'm doing. Like, no one's engaging. Like, this is da 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 da. And you realize just how much maybe of your self-image, your self-worth, your value, your validation that you're seeking in others. So this is why I say showing up for this first year at the very least, and in general, has been a personal growth journey, because I have had to face those aspects of myself that otherwise tend to stay hidden if we're not facing our fears every day, if we're not getting out of our comfort zone, if we're not doing something that feels just beyond our reach. We can hide from those aspects of ourselves that require work, or those aspects of ourselves that we have not yet learned to accept. I fully accept that I have those insecurities that often, not anymore, but before when I started, I tried to hide. Tried to hide how tired I look. I tried to hide how messy my place looked. I tried to hide how out of shape I was. I tried to hide, blah, 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 blah. All these different things that we try to hide because we think I'm not going to be accepted if this is seen, or I'm going to be criticized, or I'm going to be judged. And the thing is, you still will be. You might be. But can you still accept yourself? Can you finally find that inner strength to say, it doesn't matter. We're all human. Yes, I'm imperfect. What did you expect? What did I expect? Of course, my life is a mess sometimes, and that's okay. I can still show up and be a hot mess, but learn as I go and grow as I go and really develop that self-love. So I don't know if that one makes sense or if you guys have experienced that for yourself, but I think, that willingness to look at your reflection and say, okay, I see you. You're not perfect often. You're kind of hard to deal with many times, but you're showing up. And I commend you for that. So that was the second one, is that be prepared to have that reflection of yourself shown to you. Not just in what you think when you're showing up, but also how people react, how you react to that, and all of those different aspects. Those are kind of the intangible things that I've really extrapolated from this experience that have made me just so excited to keep going and so excited to get to know myself better as I'm showing up on these platforms. And then number 3 is to manage your expectations and to really learn how to manage your expectations. Luckily, I have always had a difficult time with this, and I don't know why, showing up online, I didn't have lofty expectations, or at least had unreasonable expectations, but I really managed to say, okay, I don't have high expectations when it comes to, I guess, external growth or vanity growth, vanity metrics, like how many people follow me or how many people like or engage. And at one point I did set those goals, but I quickly got rid of that and just said, I have expectations around what I can control, which is my work habit. And that has been such a powerful practice and habit and mindset to develop. Because at the end of the day, with whatever we're doing, we have no control over anything else but our own actions, thoughts, and words. So, for example, I set expectations and goals around how often I show up and, yeah, basically what I do to show up. So on YouTube, I know at the very beginning of the year, I kind of mentioned that I was going to show up once a week. I can control that. Can I control who watches my videos? No. Can I control who likes my videos? No. Can I control who comments or shares? No, not at all. But I can show up that for the next 52 weeks, I'm going to show up every single week. And that is empowering because I am controlling what I can control. And then on Instagram, I'm going to show up, 3 times a week or post 3 times a week. I will not lie. That has been a struggle and I haven't always been successful at that. But showing up at least weekly has been manageable and I've been able to do that. So, as I was saying, it teaches you to manage your expectations, especially if you perhaps are so focused on the numbers, so focused on the following, so focused on who's liking and who's not sharing, and etc., etc. To shift your expectations, because you will find out very quickly that that will be a recipe for disaster and a recipe to drive yourself crazy and to really affect your self-esteem if you're tying up everything that you do in those metrics and in that aspect. As soon as you can shift your perspective and your expectations to be around your own habits and your own actions, oh man, you become unstoppable because you realize I can show up. I can do that. I can get on a video every week. Of course, your fear will still be there and you have to overcome your own self-limitations and self-beliefs. But at the very least, you are managing what you can manage. And that just doesn't apply to social media, of course. These are all success principles that are applicable anywhere. So when it comes to my workouts, I cannot control necessarily, how fast I lose weight or this or that. Well, maybe you can, I don't know. I'm not big on, being too gung-ho about that, but I can't control, how fast I lose the weight or, whether or not I get 6-pack abs in the time frame that I want necessarily. But I can control that I work out 5 times a week. I could control that, with my relationships, I take the time to speak to my inner circle every day and just say hi and touch base. I can control that I take my vitamins every day so I can stay healthy. I meditate every day so my mind is at peace. Because when life goes crazy, I can't control those circumstances at times, but I can control that I've set my foundation right. I've meditated, I've done my affirmations, I have made sure that my mind is in the right place. I've primed it to be good so that when everything else goes caca, cuckoo, and stuff hits the fan, I can say, okay, I've done what I need to do within myself, and now I can be in the right headspace to show up, to take action, and to do something productive and respond instead of react. So I hope that makes sense, but just managing your expectations around how this growth journey looks, because growth is not linear, as we all know. Growth is all over the place and tipsy-turvy and does its own thing sometimes, but when we can stay consistent about what we can control, then we're guaranteed to just be on an upward trajectory that may be gradual and slow, but is definite, that you are definitely going upward and growing towards who you're meant to be. So those are my top 3 things that I've learned from showing up online. Many of them are not technical, of course, but they're more life principles, they're more mindset, they're more those intangible things that help us just commit to the journey, show up as we are, and make things happen. So just to recap, that's number 1, trust the timing of your life, and to know that everything that happens is happening for you. Number 2, be prepared to see a reflection of yourself and perhaps all of the things that you try to avoid. And to know that that is part of the personal growth journey, and it is a very beautiful and I know very ugly thing to witness, but at the end of the day, you'll feel so much better for knowing that you have seen who you are and you still love and accept yourself unconditionally. And number 3, manage your expectations. Learn to focus and to control only what you can, which is your thoughts, which is your words, and which is your actions. And have the peace of, kind of bring yourself peace to let go of everything else that isn't that, and to say, as long as I'm consistent and I'm controlling what I can control, my blessings will find me, and this journey will be as adventurous and fun and wonderful as it needs to be. So I hope that helped. I hope that gives you some tools and resources to continue the journey if you've started, to give you the inspiration to start the journey if you haven't, and to know that life is short, guys, right? We're not here for very long, but we all have an impact to make. We all have a contribution to make. And it's time for us to take action, to say, I'm going to go after everything that is in my heart to go after, and I will not be denied. I will show up, I will do the thing, I will get uncomfortable, and I'm going to have fun while I do it. I'm going to grow every single day and learn something new. So follow for more, like the video, share it with anyone who you think needs this message right now. I know if you need this message, then thank you for watching. Subscribe, because there's definitely more coming down the road, and to our growth. Be brave, be you, and I love you. Mwah. Ciao.